My name's Kain Jones. We're currently in Esmeralda Bay, which is part of Broughton Island, our local sort of stomping ground of the Hunter Valley. And behind me we have originally a 488C that I converted to a 488 tiller. The boat originally come from Lake Cat-Eye, which is 2 hours north for me. I purchased the boat. It had been, I wouldn't say butchered, but they'd cut the top off the boat. They'd started the transom and started the stringers, and it was one of those sort of projects that never come to avail. And I took it on approximately 3 years ago now, just with a little project in mind that I had after seeing the nub tub and another couple of 445s, but I don't enjoy wearing a life jacket offshore, so I went a little bit bigger and finally found the 488 that was worth fixing up, I guess you could say. I wouldn't say oh shit moments, I'd say there was stuff done, not incorrectly, it was done in a garage by someone that was sort of having a crack. So it had the 6 stringers in it. They were in there, they were glassed in there, you could say. They were sort of 10mm varying in heights and they weren't really square. The transom was done professionally, but yeah, long story short, cut the stringers out, raised them by 50mm to accommodate. I've got 2 underfloor batteries in it and a 220 odd litre kill tank in the centre of the floor. So I got lucky that the stringers weren't finished completely, and yeah, managed to throw a couple of transverse beams in and welded up a 115 litre aluminium fuel tank in between the transverses, so she sits nice with that extra weight over the bow and the 163 odd kilo tiller on the rear. All the weight's down low, so with the 2 batteries in the centre and all the gear that I carry in the middle of the boat essentially, and the 115 litres up the bow, I run a pretty big anchor chain as well, but it does sit pretty good. I'd say that your feet are almost level with the water at rest. It is the old 1988, so it's got the 3-inch reverse chines on it, so at rest it is pretty stable. At the end of the day, it's not a 5-metre boat, it's not designed to go to the shelf. Like it is good, I'm happy with it. So in the floor, like it's 12mm plywood, and then on top I done, what did I do? 2 600s, 2500 core mat, and then 2 600s. So, and then underneath just 1 600 core mat, 600. So in the floor alone, there'd be maybe 200 kilo. So there's plenty of weight down low. So at rest, it's like all the weight's right there. Like everything's at your feet. Went with a tiller steer. It's a bit unique. It's not for everyone. You do get a bit of a sore arm. You do get arm pump at the end of the day. But the 2 previous boats that I had, I made centre console, and you don't have much usable space in a centre console. Even my last console was only 600mm wide and had plenty of room beside it. But when you're crabbing, prawn and doing whatever, like you want to have as much deck space as you can. When you've only got 4.9 metres to work with, you want to utilise everything. So that's good. You can stand at the back, you can steer at the back, you can lock the engine, you can chase a mackerel, marlin, whatever you want to do up the front and drive with your knees basically. So at the moment it's a 3/4 inch transom, hardwood and then double biased into the corner, so it is absolutely bulletproof as far as the transom, and then the transom well's glassed into it, and then the top mould's glassed into the top of the transom well. So as for strength, there's plenty of strength there. As an add-on that I've done, but I haven't painted it yet, it's at home, I've done a 100mm pod to go onto the back of it just to get the tiller arm a little bit back further. I do the transom as a tiller arm fouls on the transom a little bit, a sort of 3/4 trim, so I just want to bring that engine back just a little bit further. It was a budget build, and I come in surprisingly, hear it all the time that blokes have gone over budget, but that one is the polar opposite. So I had a budget of 30, it come in around, I'm not going to do an Excel spreadsheet, but give or take 26k. So it is glass over ply, it's all 12mm hardwood ply, and then it's all polyester vinyl ester resin. There's not too much resin in it. I'm not a fan of just pumping in the resin and wetting it out, so there's probably, give or take, maybe 80 or 90 kilos in the full build, so everything's been rolled out. It is a very unique colour, so the base colour of that one, it's a Mitsubishi Evo colour from the late 2000s, it's called Power Blue Metallic. But so I've done a little bit of spray painting out of school. In the base coat I added, it was 50 grams of white pearl and 50 grams of coarse silver metallic. So it's a little bit unique, and there's only one that colour in the world. So starting at the bow, still got the mould on, I went with a Minn Kota, sort of middle of the range package. I didn't splash out too much on the Minn Kota. It does well, it holds me in 4 knots of current. Moving back, and probably the most intensive bit of labour that I had was the top mould off rebuild. So the top mould come off and I formed up my own gunnels. So the sides of the gunnels that you'll see in the boat, they're about 8mm thick and all glass. I wanted to be able to sit on the side of the boat, and traditionally the 488 and even the 17s, they come up and you've only got about 2 inches to put your rod holder, and then they come up and they've got a weird ugly ledge that I didn't want to be sitting on all day. So I've got about 300mm of flat space on top of on top of the gunnel that I can sit on, and then there's plenty of room. So there's 9 rod holders, I believe. Work them back, I've got room on the side, each side for 4 rods up underneath the gunnel, so they're out of the way, you're not kicking them around. Cup holders, plenty of deck space. Moving down, there's brackets for keeper nets and fish nets and gaffs and baseball bats for when you're mackerel fishing. And moving back into the transom well side of things, I've done, it'd be about a 45 or 50 litre livey tank, so it's only a little boat, but it definitely keeps plenty of liveys. So it's got 2 tuna tubes on the other side, on the starboard side of the boat, and it comes in super handy for mackerel fishing. Yeah. Moving around to the other side, I've made a aluminium console to house. I've got an Axiom Pro 12-inch 3D plotter that sits in front of the driver's seat. Just fits in there snug. The switch panels are beside that. I didn't have enough room for the switch panels, so I wanted to keep everything neat to the side. I wanted to keep as much deck space as I physically could. So all the switches are on the right-hand side of the 12-inch plotter, still within easy reach. Up the front, I run an Axiom 9, runs off the same pocket mount 265 low, high, wide, comes straight out of the Axiom 12, runs up the front. Whoever's up the front, they can mess around with the settings and do whatever they want to do. Stereos up front, couple of speakers, 2A's up the front, and then just dry storage up under the bow. It's powered by a brand new Suzuki 90 horse. I was tossing up whether to go the 70 and the 90, and spent a little bit extra on the 90 and couldn't be happier. It goes really well and cuts in and out. Launched it off the beach, no worries at all, and great for chasing mackerel, snapper, anything. Weather's good, run up the coast and dump it on the beach and go fishing for the day. It's only got the standard 19 pitch prop, so that engine's only got 26 or so out. It's only just had its first service, so I haven't messed around with props by any means. I'm happy with it. Top speed's only 28 knots, but to get there, it gets there real quick. I don't want to go any faster than 28 knots offshore, so as it stands, I'll probably just leave the 19 pitch prop on there. Fuel economy, next level. Suzuki, compliments to Suzuki. That thing, without going too big on the numbers, I can run from Shoal Bay up to Edith Breakers, which is give or take 27-mile run, not turn the engine off all day, fish all day up there, come do a bit of fishing locally around here at Broughton Island and go back. And I fueled it on the way to the ramp this morning, and that was the last trip that I'd done, and it took 22 litres, and that was a full day, didn't turn off. Yeah. Even the old Mercury 100 that I had, like, it was good, don't get me wrong, but you'd spend 140, 150 a day if you were going to go to Seals in it. Like, it was a good thing, but yeah, this thing's $40 for a full day, and you're sick of being on the water. So it's phenomenal. You don't worry about fuel burn, and I've got 115 litres there, so I can go fishing for a month without even worrying about the fuel. It's fast, it's responsive, it turns on a dime. It is a little bit wet in a west or an east wind when it throws it up over the front of the boat, but if you're going into a head sea with a southerly or northerly, you can just send it, just let it have it, just trim down and just absolutely send it, and everything goes behind you. So it is the eBay knockoff of deck armour. Like I said, it was a budget build. I got quotes from all but everywhere in Australia. To get the deck armour, the cheapest I could sort of get it down to was give or take 4K without checking emails. But for me, being the budget build, that's $54 a roll. That's straight out of China. I did go and apply plenty of spray-on glue to it and Sikaflex the sides down, and it's holding for now. So even if I've got to do it every 5 years, I'm still in front at the end of the day. I just couldn't justify the money, primarily just being the budget build that it is. I couldn't justify the 4K. It's not for the faint-hearted. It is the worst nightmare that you can have, especially for me. I've got a 14-month-old daughter at home, and I was off work for 2 months on maternity leave, and my plan was to spend 2 months in the shed because newborn baby sleeps so long. But when you go in and you give your daughter red irritation of fiberglass on a 2-day-old baby, it's not good. So 2 months I didn't touch the boat. It is time consuming. And that is an understatement. Like, anyone can fiberglass. There's plenty of YouTube videos on how to fiberglass. Take your time, don't rush it, buy good materials, prep everything properly, and you'll be able to save a lot of money. Took me a couple of times, but I think I've got this one right. Put a lot of hours in it, and you've hit me on a heartstring here. I'm proud. I finished the build. I spread my mother's ashes in it at the start of the year, and that was the project. The plan was to take it to her birth town and spread her ashes over east, and I got to do that in a boat that I built. So it was good. It's a special feel. I'll never sell it. It was a budget build. It was never intended to be sold. It will never be sold. It'll be run into the ground.